Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. I noticed that there's some new faces around here, so if you're new, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I read a wide variety of books, and today I just want to gush so much about How to Say Babylon by Safiya Sinclair. It was first brought to my attention when it made the Women's Prize for Nonfiction list, and it has now been shortlisted. So I'm glad that people are recognizing what a great book this is. There are a ton of trigger warnings, so if you are at all sensitive, make sure and look those up. This is a gripping personal narrative of Safiya growing up in the extreme cult Rastafari in Jamaica. She grows up with an incredibly controlling father, and in many ways, this really reminded me of another memoir, Educated by Tara Westover. I think if you liked that one, you would probably like this one as well. Both women escape extremist families, Tara through education, and Safiya through her poetry. And oh my goodness, the writing in this was incredibly beautiful. I'm going to give you two examples just so you can see how fabulous a writer she is. Heart flooded with anguish, his face grew torqued and wet as he called out to his mother from that unguarded place. Called out to an indifferent sky, warbling each word like a prayer as their car drove away with the moving truck following closely behind. Oh, that was a haunting scene. And in her descriptions of Jamaica in the summer, she writes, "The fruit ripened recklessly, perfuming the air with orange trees, overripe jackfruit sweating like men, and the soft purpling blush of the star apple beckoned. On the blazing streets and in the privacy of kitchens came the suck of fresh water through jelly, sugarcane juice licked clean from sticky hands." Her writing just really helped immerse me in the story. It was exquisite. So the book opens up talking a little bit about the founding of Rastafari. And I found that really interesting because I didn't know anything about it. I basically knew the stereotypes. A Jamaican man with dreadlocks, listens to reggae, and smokes pot. That's pretty much all I knew. But this cult was basically started because the Ethiopian president Haile Selassie was believed to be basically God incarnate, and when he visited Jamaica, Rastafari really bloomed. However, the government treated it like a fringe movement and tried to stamp it out, but that only further solidified the Rastafari people because they believed the government and white people and Christians, all of that's Babylon, and they're trying to keep the black man down. The author talks about why her mother and father were interested in Rastafari, as they viewed it just as a way of life that they could get further ahead if they had Jah on their side. It even had its own language, as cults often do. I really liked listening to the patois on the audiobook. That was a really good way to consume this story. So there aren't any solid guidelines of what to do if you want to be Rastafari, but the most restrictive one was called Nyabingi, and that's the one that Safiya's father decided to follow. It essentially made him a godhead. Basically, whatever he says goes. He gets to be the final decision maker on everything. And if he wants more than one woman, nobody can stop him. If he wants whatever he wants, he has basically absolute power, and no wonder it turned abusive. Safiya's mother was really isolated from her family, with her husband basically not allowing her to see her family any longer. So this is the family that Safiya is born in, and she also has quite a few restrictions. One thing that she really dives headfirst into is reading and academia. I really related to that because I've used books as paper portals as well. I'll read what she said about it. "A book, I soon learned, was time travel. Each page held irrefutable power. When the sun burned so bright and made me drunk, I opened the giant encyclopedia and fell right in." So while she did really well in school academically, she did not flourish. If you have ever been bullied, then you might really relate with her experience. As a Rastafari member, she had to start growing her hair into dreadlocks at age 8. Not only did the kids pick on her for this, but the teachers did as well. She also wasn't allowed to wear pants or eat meat or have any friends. This author is a great storyteller, and the way she wrote was almost like a page turner. She kept foreshadowing how bad things were going to get before she was able to leave. She really thinks Rastafari is not the way that she wants to live her life. It is not good for women. I'm not really sure which cults are. So she starts rebelling, and unfortunately her father comes down like a hammer. The physical violence culminates in her wishing for death. I'm going to quote it one more time. This scene just broke my heart. I lost count of the lashes. It could have been 5 minutes. It could have been 15. The pain blurred whatever time it took to make my father feel tall again. Darkness grew in and out of the world as I knelt under the blows, and I begged for death to take me. Just take me. The author narrates the audiobook, and on that last "just take me," her voice breaks, and my heart broke for her. This violence that she endured ultimately spurred her to find a way to escape. I think if anything that I've talked about sounds interesting at all to you, I would highly encourage you to pick this book up. I genuinely cannot say enough praise for this book. She is a compelling writer. Her story is fascinating. Also, now that it's been shortlisted, I feel like it has to win. It's just so good. I haven't read the other books. That doesn't matter. This is so good that I think it should win. And if something else tops it, I'm going to check that out because, wow, I'd be in for a treat. So, have I convinced you to read it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And if you've already read this book, definitely share your thoughts as well. Do you agree with me? Disagree? I'm up for a chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.